Hello and welcome to your current event news and stimulus talk update. Yesterday was a crazy and sad day for the nation. Trump's social media accounts are locked. California is proposing some more stimulus for their residents. $600 stimulus checks are arriving for millions, while others are receiving kind of unfortunate error messages. I'll explain that in a bit. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to send you off with some current events that I found that I think will just hopefully brighten your day just a little bit. So go ahead and hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already, and share this video if you find it interesting by the end. Go ahead and share it. So yesterday at the Capitol, protesters gathered outside the Capitol building as Congress held a joint session ceremony to certify the election results. Things went from bad to worse as the rioters eventually broke through some of the windows and shots were fired at them. Reports have 4 dead as of right now, with 1 confirmed to be shot by U.S. Capitol Police. The mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, ordered a 12-hour curfew to which most of the rioters dispersed, but a few remained, with the police reporting around 50 curfew violation arrests as of 10:30 p.m. yesterday. And many leaders and former leaders have issued statements condemning the violence of yesterday and calling on Trump to openly condemn the violence as well and admit the election results. But as of right now, it doesn't seem that that is going to happen on either front. And he might have even added some fuel to the fire. After he spoke to a crowd outside the White House yesterday, he said, quote, "We will never give up. We will never concede. You don't concede when there's theft involved," and then chaos erupted. Then after this, he had some tweets following a similar tone, and Twitter has locked his account for the first time. And this comes after the company flagged and removed several tweets that went against the company's civic integrity policy. And then Twitter went on to say that his account would be deleted if further tweets were not deleted beforehand. Then along with Twitter freezing his account, Facebook blocked his account for 24 hours, which is now expanded to a block on his Instagram account for at least 2 weeks and possibly indefinitely. This is very conflicting to me. I mean, I understand these social media companies wanting peace and to stop misinformation, but it's a really slippery slope if just a few companies get to decide what everyone sees and how everyone thinks. I think the blocking of public figures or misinformation starts with, some good intentions, but can easily turn into, hey, let's just block everything we don't agree with. So I'm a pretty firm believer that deplatforming shouldn't be a thing unless someone is actually being violent or breaking the law. Or if we're in a situation where if we're going to allow social media companies to police online speech, they should be liable if they get something wrong. I mean, let's say they block something or someone that they say is false, and then they turn out to be wrong or incorrect. They should have to pay for this. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. We just don't want a monopoly on information or a filter as to what information we receive. So, of course, these are frustrating and sad times for just about everyone. I mean, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, increasing poverty rates, and civic unrest. It's kind of like, what else is there to even go wrong at this point? Basically, everything is on fire except for the stock market and Bitcoin. They're like, nah, we're good. We're just going to sit here at record highs. I actually bought some Bitcoin last week just for the fun of it, and it's currently up 30% in 1 week. I mean, that's definitely not stable. Oh, and also Webull is still running their offer to receive 2 free stocks with deposits, so make sure you take advantage of that. The link is in my description. So yesterday, a protester named Bill Riley at the Capitol summed up all this chaos pretty well, saying, "If you thought 2020 was weird, 2021 is going to be hold my beer, if you ask me." Couldn't have said it better, Bill. Cheers to you. Now, let's take a moment to jump over to the West Coast and discuss some more stimulus talk for the state of California. Governor Gavin Newsom is calling for the state to send out new $600 stimulus payments to low-income residents, and this is aimed to go to roughly 4 million Californians. Newsom's $600 payments are part of a larger plan to extend the eviction moratorium for those who have been able to make at least 25% of their payments, as well as allocated the $2.6 billion in federal stimulus money to stabilize low-income renters and small business owners. So I'm glad to see some things happening at a state level. I hope we see things moving forward like this, where states take a little bit more charge to help their citizens. I mean, it makes more sense because a state is going to have a better idea of where their citizens need support than the federal government will. Obviously, the smaller the governing area, the more they know about the people there. I mean, it makes sense. Now let's cover those $600 stimulus checks. Currently, the IRS says they've issued about 68% of the total payments to be sent out. And if you haven't received your payment yet, use the Get My Payment tool. It's up and working now. You might have to wait a little while. There's some heavy usage and some load time, so it might take like 10 minutes to get through to the tool, but it's working as of now. And go ahead and check the status of your payment. Now, the next part is important. If you receive a message that says payment status number 2 not available, don't panic. I mean, this isn't the greatest news if you receive this message, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get the payment at all. Instead, what this means is you're going to have to file your 2020 taxes to receive the payment. So while filing, you're going to be able to claim the $600 payment as a credit on your taxes. It has nothing to do with your refund. It's going to add to the tax refund though. Also, if you never received the first check or like a dependent payment throughout the year, maybe you had a kid at some point in 2020, you will also be able to claim those payments on your 2020 tax return as well. So it's going to surely take longer to receive than just the regular old check in the mail or an electronic deposit, but it actually shouldn't take that long as you file your taxes as early as you can and there aren't any issues on your taxes. If you file your taxes by the 10th of January, you can expect to receive your tax refund and the stimulus payment sometime in the first week of February. So, I know this isn't ideal, but I suppose looking on the bright side, it's better than the first check where many people had to wait like 4 to 5 months to receive their payment. So worst case, you just have to wait for your taxes, and you'll also receive any other payments that you might not have received from the first time around. So all this being said, the majority of people will still receive their stimulus payment with no action needed at all. The first paper checks have actually been sent out and should be arriving any day. I also discovered a little trick to find out when you're going to get the mailed check a few days early, and that's with the post office's informed delivery app. You can get it on Android or iPhone, or I think you can even view it on just an online browser, and it's totally free. How it works is the post office sends you pictures of the mail that you're expecting to get before you get it, like a day or two beforehand. So this way you can plan ahead a little bit when exactly you're going to receive that paper check. So that's going to do it for the heavy stuff. And before I send you off, let's fire off some rapid fire current events, just some good happy news. So a student-run grocery store in Texas offers free food and essential goods to students and people in need. In fact, the store is open to any of the 9,000 residents in the town of Sanger. And they use a point-based system that's kind of neat. It scales with the size of your family, from a small family being allotted 40 points to larger ones getting 65 points. And then those who don't want to use their points can donate them or just simply, ignore the store altogether. And then from here, the last piece of good news, food vendors in New York City are receiving up to $1,000 in assistance through the donations of Morgan Stanley, Robinhood, and SVP. Many vendors rightfully are claiming that it's a ghost town out there and they've been out of business for months and months. So that's going to do it for today. If you're in DC, please be safe, and as always, have a profitable day.